My name is Mr. Golf, said the man who stepped out of the closet. And surprising it may seem, the children weren't afraid. It was his voice. His voice was full of comfort and wisdom, like an old leather chair in a dusty library. It didn't matter what he did. It felt good just to listen to him. He was a handsome man with neatly combed brown hair and clean fingernails. He carried a brown briefcase. Nobody even noticed that his nose had 3 nostrils. Since I am going to be your teacher for the next few months, let me tell you a bit about myself. I was born in the Himalayan mountains in a town called Kathmandu. Kathmandu, said Terence. Cool. Kathmandu, said Terence. Cool. Everyone laughed. They weren't laughing at Terence. There was just something about the name of that city and the way Terence said it. Terence's voice was like a rusty rain pipe. Have you ever been married? Allison. Allison's voice was like a cat walking across the piano. No, I'm a bachelor, said Mr. Golf. Allison smiled, greatly relieved. Well, that's enough about me, said Mr. Golf. How about some of you telling me about yourselves? My name is Mac, said Mac, without raising his hand. Mac's voice was like a freight train. I built the biggest snowman you ever saw. Man, it was huge. I had to stand on the ladder to put the hat on his head. It was a stovepipe hat, like Abraham Lincoln wore. But I don't know why they call it put a bag of marshmallows in a microwave oven. Man, it's like Mr. Golf's nose flared. His right nostril flared to the right. His left nostril flared to the left. The hole in the middle seems to get larger. Mac coughed. He tried to speak, but no words came out. Thank you, Mac, said Mr. Golf. Anyone else? Diddy raised her hand. Yes, young lady, said Mr. Golf. Diddy giggled. She liked the way he said young lady. My name is Diddy, she said. Her voice was small but full of energy, like a Super Bowl. I like soccer and Ninja Turtles, my favorite. Mr. Golf's nose flared. Diddy lost her voice too. Who's next? Asked Mr. Golf. Yes, the girl in the polka dot shirt. My name is Mauricia, said Mauricia. I have 2 brothers and 1 sister. Mauricia's voice was like a pineapple milkshake. Mr. Golf shook it up through his nose. Hey, that's what's going, said Todd. Todd was silent. Look at his nose, shouted Eric Bacon. It has. Eric Bacon had nothing else to say. Nobody say anything. Then he tried to warn. A voice disappeared up Mr. Golf's nose. Soon the class was quiet. Mr. Golf's middle nostril had sorted all of their voices, except for Allison. She remained silent. She knew she'd only get 1 chance to speak, and she had to wait for just the right moment. What good boys and girls you are, said Mr. Golf. So nice and quiet, he laughed. Of course this isn't my real voice, he said. I stole voice from a gentleman I meet in Scotland. He touched the tip of his nose. This is my voice, he squawked. If a donkey could talk, if the donkey had a sore throat, and if it spoke with a French accent. That was what Mr. Golf Boy sounded like. But that, he said next, was even more horrible than his voice. Mrs. Golf was my mummy. The children sat frozen in their chairs, too scared to move. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. Mr. Golf touched his nose. "Who is it?" he asked, in the pleasant voice he stole from the cottage gentleman. "Miss Mush," said Miss Mush from another side of the door. "I just came up to say hello and welcome you to Wayside School." "This is very nice of you, Miss Mush," said Mr. Golf. "But we are very busy right now. Maybe we can get together for tea and crumpets sometime." Miss Mush giggled. "That sounds lovely," she said. "By the way, Mr. Golf, are you married?" "No, I'm single," said Mr. Golf. "So am I," said Miss Mush. "Miss Mush," shouted Allison, "help! Mr. Golf is talking." Mr. Golf's nose flew. "Did you say something, Allison?" asked Miss Mush. Mr. Golf touched his nose. Then he spoke, this time using Allison's voice. "Mr. Golf is taking us on a field trip next week, but he might need help. Do you want to come with us?" "Maybe," said Miss Mush. "Thank you, Allison." "Oh, don't thank me," said Allison's voice. "Thank Mr. Golf. He's the best teacher in the whole world." "I'm glad," said Miss Mush. "He sounds very charming." "And so do you," said Mr. Golf, speaking like the gentleman from Scotland. He touched his nose. "See you later, Miss Mush," said the voice of Eric Ovens. "Take care," said Kevin's voice. "Have a nice day," said Kathy's voice. Chapter 12. No. Mr. Golf locked the door. "I don't want any more interruptions," he said. Very quietly, Lizzie slipped a piece of paper out of her desk. Then she felt around for a pencil. Mr. Golf returned to the teacher's desk. He opened the top drawer and took out the class list. It had names of the children in the class, their parents' names, and their parents' home and work phone numbers. "Let's play a game," he said, speaking in his own normal French donkey with a sore throat voice. "The name of the game is Who Am I Now?" Lizzie found a pencil. She held a piece of paper on her lip, where Mr. Golf couldn't see it. She wrote "Help" in big letters. She had to get it to Louis, the yard teacher. Mr. Golf touched the tip of his nose. "Who am I now?" he asked. It was a girl's voice, soft and warm, with just a little bit of a giggle in it. Everyone looked at Rondi. "Rondi," said Mr. Golf. He opened his briefcase and removed a porch table phone. He deleted Rondi's home number. "Hello, Mommy," Mr. Golf said into phone, using Rondi's voice. "No, nothing's wrong. I just called to say I hate you. You're the worst mommy in the whole world. You're ugly and you smell bad. It's not fair. Out of the whole mummies in the world, I got stuck with you." She hung up the phone. Rondi sat crying in her chair. Mr. Golf touched his nose. "Isn't this a good game?" he asked, sounding very much like a sick French donkey. "Rondi is crying, and at home her mother is crying too," he laughed. "Too bad you won't ever be able to tell her you're sorry, Rondi." Lizzie carefully folded a piece of paper into a paper airplane. There was one open window next to Sherry's desk. Mr. Golf touched his nose. "Who am I now?" he asked. Everyone tried to not look at Joe. Mr. Golf called Joe's mother at work. "Hello, Mommy," he said. "I hate you. I wish you'd go away forever. Then maybe Daddy will marry somebody good this time." Lizzie knew she'd have one chance. It would take a perfect throw. She tossed the paper airplane towards the window. Mr. Golf saw it. "Hey!" he shouted. The airplane sailed closer, but then at last second it made a sudden turn. It hit the wall and landed on the floor. Mr. Golf laughed. He picked up the airplane and unfolded. "Help!" he sneezed. "No one can help you. You took Mommy away from me, and I'm going to take your mummies away from you." He touched his nose. "Who am I now?" he asked. Lizzie's voice. He started to dial her home phone number, but was interrupted by a knock on the door. "Oh, Mr. Golf," sang Miss Mush. "Yes," said Mr. Golf, still in Lizzie's voice. He touched his nose and cleared his throat. "Yes?" This time he sounded like a donkey with tonsillitis. He touched his nose again. "Yes?" he asked in a pleasant voice from the Scottish gentleman. "It's me again," said Miss Mush. Miss Mush's voice like two boots sliding through mud. "I baked you a pie, Mr. Golf, to welcome to Wayside School." Mr. Golf sighed. "You're very kind, Miss Mush," he said, "but we are all quite busy at the moment. Perhaps another—" "It's best to eat while it's still warm," said Miss Mush. "You probably don't get fresh pies very often, being a bachelor and all." "I really hate to disturb the class," said Mr. Golf. "I'll tell you what. I'll just came outside a moment, and you can hand it to me." He glared at the class, daring them to move. Then he opened the door. "I hope you like pepper pie," said Miss Mush. She smashed it in his face. Mr. Golf turned around. His face was covered with a thick pepper cream. He sneezed. Kevin laughed. "Hey, my voice is back," said Kevin. Wait a second. This isn't my voice. It sounds like Bibby." Mr. Golf sneezed again. "I can't talk," said Jenny. "But who am I?" Mr. Golf sneezed. "You're Mauricio," said Jason. Jason sounded like the gentleman from Scotland. Mr. Golf kept sneezing. "Who am I? Miss Sonny?" Paul crackled. He sounded like somebody's grandmother. Toad barked. "Achoo!" Mr. Golf sneezed so hard his nose flew off his face. He seemed like a donkey. Then ran noseless out of the room. "Oh, gross," said Jason. "Now I sound like Allison." Bibby said something in Italian. "Nobody panic," said Miss Mush. "Your voices are bouncing around trying to find where they belong. It might take a while, but soon you'll be back to normal." "How do you know?" said Lizzie, although she sounded like Paul. "And how you know how to smash a pepper pie in Mr. Golf's face?" "I wasn't exactly sure," explained Miss Mush. "But when I came up the first time, I heard Kathy say, 'Have a nice day.' So either Kathy had decided to be nice to me, or Mr. Golf was a mean teacher who sucked children's voices up his nose." She shrugged. "I just didn't think Kathy would be nice." "Maybe if you learned to brush your teeth," muttered Kathy. Mr. Golf's nose lay on the floor. Miss Mush picked it up and put it in her apron pocket. "Oh, it will go good in spaghetti sauce," she said. Soon all the children had their real voices back. Randy and Joe called their mothers on Miss Scott's portable phone and told them they loved them. While far away, in a small village in Scotland, a man who hadn't spoke for 20 years turned to his wife and said, "Pot of good morning to you, Tilly." Chapter 13. The new teacher. The new teacher entered the classroom carrying a blue notebook stuffed with papers. She had white teeth and wore glasses. She was a lot older than anyone else in the class. She took a deep breath. It's string walking up those stairs, isn't it?" she said. Nobody said anything. They just stared at her. She set her notebook on teacher's desk. "My name is Mrs. Drizzle," she said. "I'm not Basil." She smiled at her little joke. Nobody else smiled. After Mrs. and Mr. Golf, they didn't trust teachers. Dazzle, thought Lizzie. Where have I heard that name before? "Where are you from?" asked Lizzie. "Actually, I was born not too far from here," said Mrs. Drizzle. "Then why do you say you come from Brazil?" asked Benjamin. "No, I said I wasn't from Brazil, said Mrs. Drizzle. "Have you ever been to Brazil?" asked Eric Fry. "No," explained Miss Drizzle. "It was just a little joke. Brazil rhymes with Zul. I thought it might help you remember my name." Terence laughed. "Drizzle Basil," he shouted. "That's funny." Several other kids laughed too, but not Diddy. She had heard of Miss Drizzle somewhere. She was sure of it. And whatever she had heard, she was sure it wasn't good. "Also, Brazil?" asked Eric Oven. "Brazil is the largest country in South America," said Mr. Drizzle. "Oh," said Eric Ovens. "I thought it was one of those things that, women wear, on their bosom." Several kids laughed. "No, that's a brassiere," said Mrs. Drizzle. There was no laughter. Stephen was shocked. She said, "Brassiere." He whispered, "Right in class." "I know, I heard her," said Jason, but Diddy still didn't trust her. Even if she did say brassiere right out loud. There was a television show that Diddy liked to watch. It was about real criminals. At the end of the show, they always asked the viewers to call the police if you know where any of the criminals are. Diddy wondered if she had seen Mr. Zul on that show. Does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask me?" asked Mrs. Zul. Ron raised his hand. Mrs. Zul pointed to him. "How old are you?" asked Ron. Dana gasped. "We're not supposed to ask someone that," she said. "Especially someone as old as Mr. Zul," said Mac. Mrs. Zul smiled. "I don't mind," she said. "I'm 66 years old. You can ask me anything you want." "Anything?" said Joy. "I'm a teacher," said Mr. Zul. That's what I'm here for." Paul raised his hand. "How much do you weigh?" he asked. 124 pounds, said Mr. Zul. "How much money do you make?" said Eric Bacon. "I'm a substitute teacher," explained Mr. Zul, "so I only make money on days that I teach. Then I make $51.18 a day." "Oh, a riff-off," said Jenny. "You should make at least $200 It'll be nice, Mrs. Zhu. But I'm a teacher because I love to teach. I love to see young children learn. Joy raised her hand. How many men have you kissed in your whole life? Mrs. Zhu thought a moment as she appeared to be counting on her fingers. 31, she said. Everyone gasped. Didi raised her hand. Mrs. Zhu smiled at her. Yes, the girl in the pretty flowered t-shirt. Have you ever been in jail? Asked Didi. No, said Mrs. Zhu. Are police after you? No, said Mrs. Zhu. Didi still didn't trust her. Okay, said Mrs. Zhu. Before we get started, I want to say one more thing. I enjoy teaching so much that sometimes I get a little carried away. I talk too much. So if I start to get boring, will somebody please raise their hand and tell me? For real? Asked Todd. You want us to tell you stop talking? And you won't get in trouble? Asked Baby. Of course not, said Mrs. Zhu. You'll be helping me and the rest of your class. You're going to learn if you're bored. You're not going to learn if you're bored. Cool, said Terence. I suppose when I first started teaching, I used to be a little more strict, said Mrs. Zhu. I even worried about things like whether my students had clean fingertails or if the shirts were tucked in. She laughed. But times have changed. I changed. Besides, the kids were a lot worse back then. At last, some of them. For just a second, her sweet face turned sore as she looked at her notebook on her desk. Then she smiled again. I believe teaching requires mutual cooperation. I'll cooperate with you, and you need to cooperate with me. If we work together, we will have a very enjoyable learning experience. Her face turned sore again. But if you cross me, you'll be very, very sorry. She ran her fingers over her blue notebook. Oh, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someday I'll get you. You can run, but you can't hide. She smiled. Okay, let's get started. Chapter 14. A light bulb, a pencil sharpener, a coffee pot, and a sack of potatoes. Galileo was a great scientist, said Miss Zhu. He was born in Italy in 1564 and died in 1642. He was the first person to use a telescope to study the stars, and he also helped figure out the laws of gravity. Oh, I know about gravity, said Joe. Mrs. Zhu pushed the computer out the window. It fell a lot faster than a pencil. I don't think so, said Mrs. Zhu. Galileo proved that all objects fall at the same speed. He conducted a very famous experiment. He dropped a lot of different objects of a learning power of Pisa. The learning power of Pisa is in Italy. It was built in. Todd raised his hand. You're getting a little boring, she said. Oh, my goodness, am I? Asked Mrs. Zhu. Wendy, Lizzie, Paul, and Kevin nodded their heads. I'm sorry, said Mrs. Azul. She thought a moment. I know, she exclaimed. Let's do the experiment here. The children cheered. They loved experiments. Mrs. Azul rubbed her hands together. Let's see. We'll need a coffee pot, a pencil sharpener, a light bulb, and she thought a moment. We need something heavy. An elephant is heavy, said Benjamin. There are no elephants in Wayside School, said Mrs. Zoo. Everyone laughed. How about a sack of potatoes? Asked Ron. I bet Miss Mush has one. Go see, said Mrs. Zoo. There's a coffee pot down in the office, said Stephen. Go get it, said Mrs. Zoo. If I had a screwdriver, I would get the pencil sharpener off the wall, said Eric Fry. I've got a screwdriver, said Jenny. Can we use fluorescent light bulb? Asked Bibby. She looked up at the ceiling. I guess so, said Mrs. Zoo. How do I get it? Asked Bibby. You're the scientist, said Mrs. Zoo. You figure it out. Bibby put her chair on the top of her desk and stood on it. She still couldn't reach the ceiling. Hey, Benjamin, let me have your chair. She put Benjamin's chair on top of hers, but she still wasn't tall enough. Kevin dumped the waste paper basket onto the floor. Try this, he said. Bibby turned the trash upside down and put on top of Benjamin's chair. Then she climbed on top, but she still couldn't quite reach. Lucy bought the cloth dictionary. Johnny and Dana donated their math books. Sherry grabbed Mrs. Zoo's old boob notebook. Put that down, yelled Mr. Zoo, right now. Charlie dropped the notebook. Mrs. Zoo's kindly old face had suddenly turned mean. Don't ever touch that again, said Mrs. Zoo ordered. Sherry turned trembling to her seat. Everyone was staring at Mrs. Zoo. She smiled sweetly. Go back what you're doing, she said. Jason threw Bibby his lunchbox. She sat on the top of the books, then she climbed up, standing on her tiptoes. She able to pull the cover of the fluorescent light. She grabbed the light as she collapsed it beneath her. She fell on the ground, trembling, holding the unbroken light bulb high above her head. Ron returned to a sack of potatoes from this bush. Stephen returned with Mr. Kidswatcher's coffee pot. Eric Fry unscrewed his pencil sharpener from the wall. Mrs. Zoo wrote, coffee pot, sack of potato, pencil sharpener, and light bulb on the blackboard. We're going to drop all 4 objects out the window at the same time, she said. How many people think the coffee pot will hit the ground first? Is there coffee in it? Asked Jason. It's about half full, Stephen reported. 8 kids thought the coffee pot would hit the ground first. 16 thought the sack of potatoes would hit the ground first. 3 thought the light bulb would be first. Only 10 thought the pencil sharpener would hit first. Jason, Jenny, Joe, John, and Joy were the judges. Ms. Zoo sent them outside. Stephen held the coffee pot out the window. Bibby held the light bulb out another. Eric Fry held the pencil sharpener out another. And Ron held the sack of potatoes. Everyone else crowded around to watch. With everyone on the same side of the classroom, the school leaned a little bit, just like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. On your mark, get set, let go, said Mrs. Zoo. The object fell through the air and smashed against the pavement. A short while later, the judges returned. Their clothes were splattered with coffee. Jenny had bits of potatoes in her hair. Was the pencil sharpener first? Asked Terence. It happened so fast, said Joe. They all hit about the same time. But the coffee pot made the coolest explosion, said Jason. I think the light bulb hit the ground first, said John. Well, that's possible, said Mrs. Zoo. Gravity causes all objects to follow the same route. But air slows them down. That's called air resistance. And that's good, otherwise raindrops would kill us. Air resistance slows all things down a little bit, but it has greater effort on very light objects, such as a piece of paper, and of course the shape of the paper is important too. A crumpled up piece of paper will fall faster than... You're getting boring again, said Mac. Mrs. Zoo stopped talking. Now we need a new pencil sharpener, said Lacey. Paul licked her ear. Chapter 15. An Elephant in Wayside School. The bell rang for recess, and the children exploded out the building. Louis, the yard teacher, was already with a big pile of red and green balls. The kids called, "Hi, Louis! Over here, Louis!" as he tossed the ball to them over his shoulder back through the legs. Diddy came charging out the building. Usually by the time she got to the playground, there were no balls left. She could see one red ball by Louis' foot. She knocked over a kid from 10th floor and shouted, "Hey, Lou!" Suddenly she stopped. She had just remembered where she'd heard of Mrs. Zoo. It was from Louis. He had once told her about the meanest teacher he'd ever had when he was a kid. She hurried over to the kid friends to make sure. "Hey, Tosh," she called. Tosh was playing turtle ball with Ron. As she turned to look at Diddy, the ball came around and bonked him in the head. "Do you remember when Lois told us about the meanest teacher he ever had?" said Diddy. Tosh shook his head. After being caught by the tetherball, he couldn't remember anything. "I remember," said Jason, who was in the line to play. "Whenever Lois got in trouble, the teacher used to put the waste paper basket on his head." "That's right," said Johnny. "And then Lois would have to keep it there the rest of the day, and everyone would laugh at him. And then the teacher would call him to answer questions from the blackboard. But he couldn't see the questions, so she'd give him an F." "Do you remember the teacher's name?" asked Diddy. The friends shook their heads. Todd couldn't even remember his own name. "It was Mrs. Drazil," said Diddy. They ran to Louis. "Hey, Louis," said Jason, "what's the name of that mean teacher you once had when you were a kid?" "Which one?" asked Louis. "The one that you put the trash can on your head," said Jenny. Louis shuddered just thinking about her. "Mrs. Dazil," he whispered. The kids looked at each other. "What color hair does she have?" said Jason. "Brown," said Louis. "Why?" "We have a substitute teacher," explained Diddy. "She's real nice," said Good. It's good, said Louis. "Her name is Miss Stazul," said Diddy. "Well, I'm getting out of here," said Louis. He started to run, but the kids grabbed him. "It's okay," said Jenny. "It can't be the same teacher. Our teacher is nice." "And her hair isn't brown," said Jason. "It's white." Louis relaxed a little bit. "Do you want to come and meet her?" asked Diddy. "No way," said Louis. "Oh, you're silly, Louis," said Diddy. "She's not the same teacher, and besides, you're a teacher now, too." "Oh, yeah, I forgot," said Louis. Come on, Louis," said Diddy. She held his hand and led him up the stairs. They entered the classroom. Mrs. Dazul was putting some of the children's work on the bulletin board. "Miss Dazul," said Diddy, "we brought our yard teacher up to meet you." "It's very nice to meet you," said Miss Dazul as she pinned up Joe's arithmetic test. Exercise is so important for young minds of bodies. She turned around. Lois' face pulled. Well, it was nice to meet you, he said quickly. I've gotta go. Bye. Stay right where you are, Lois, ordered Mrs. Zhu. He froze. Mrs. Zhu slowly walked to her desk. She picked up the old blue notebook. The notebook, whispered Lois. Mrs. Zhu opened it and flipped through the pages. Here we are, she said. She removed a piece of paper and handed it to Louis. Is this your homework? She asked. Louis looked at it. You're supposed to copy it over, aren't you? Said Mrs. Zhu. That was over 15 years ago, said Louis. I don't remember. I do, said Mrs. Zhu. Oh, now I remember, said Louis. I was going to copy it over, but then my pencil point broke, so I went to sharpen it, but the pencil sharpener fell on my foot, so I had to go to the hospital. I don't want any of your famous excuses, Louis, said Mrs. Zhu. I just want the homework. You may share Diddy's desk. Louis sat next to Diddy. And remember, Louis, said Mrs. Zhu, I know your tricks. Diddy watched Louis struggle with his homework. Sorry, Louis, she said. Don't be worried, said Mrs. Zhu. It's for his own good. And I expect needless, Louis, or else you'll just have to do it again. He frowned. Mrs. Zhu stood over him and watched him work. Your fingernails are filthy, she said. I'm the yard teacher, Lois tried to explain. I spend a lot of time outside in the grass and dirt and stuff. I don't want excuses, said Mrs. Zhu. I want clean fingernails. And while you're at it, chop off that mustache. It looks like a hairy caterpillar crawling across your face. Not my mustache, said Lois. At least you want me to rip it off for you, said Mr. Zhu. Diddy felt terrible. I can't believe Mrs. Zhu still remembers you after all this time, she said. An elephant never forgets, muttered Louis. I heard that, said Mrs. Zhu. She put the waste paper basket on Louis's head.